show in the 3 o'clock hour. All right, so Paul, the SEC with some at least threats on people who storm the field.
Yeah, but this is via Pat 40 that right now they, $250,000, the fine they give you for storming the field. They're considering things like forfeits and other punishments that are far, far more extreme than hold on, I got to pull up the tweet here because I was laughing so hard at it when it got sent to me. Look, I get that it's a problem, but taking away home games.
No, they're not.
Yeah. Forfeiting wins or taking away home games as a punishment for field storming.
There's no way they're going to take away a home game because, you're talking about some of those stadiums have 100,000 people. The Vanderbilt's is not very large, and I don't know what the other ones are. You're not going to be able to control that. And you can't – I don't think that's the punishment.
I think you're going to be able to control it, and you're going to eventually have to find a way to do it. And if that's penalizing a team, then that's what you're going to have to do. But they're going to find a solution to it. I can rest assured there. I mean, otherwise we wouldn't be talking about it. It's clearly a focus, and I think it's one of those things where, there's been, dozens, if not hundreds of field stormings over the years, but you want to just risk that 101 is going to be fine too, and 102 and 103. I just think in this world, you don't want to bring a lawsuit upon yourself if you don't have to. And it feels like we've had a lot of luck in there not being something super egregious, but there's been some moments where you're like, okay, that could have gotten sideways a little bit. I think fans are fine, and I'm not anti-rushing the field at all. I don't even bemoan those who do it on a semi-regular basis when they've been superstar for success. I think some can kind of it gets to the point where you're like, okay, you just beat a team that's won 3 games. You don't need to rush the field. Get you're excited about the direction of the program, though. But, for these SEC schools, I guess the fines aren't getting through, and so they feel like they need to do something else. And, it does sound a bit too serious, but it's also not into law. It's not a rule just yet. It's being debated about. So they'll get their reaction to that after they floated it and see everybody's, thoughts on it, and they'll reconvene, I'm sure, and discuss it some more, and maybe this is the last that we hear of it, but, if you were trying to ensure that it doesn't happen again, what else are you going to threaten them with? Money doesn't matter. What else are you going to say? What matters to those fans? Winning.
Losing a home game,
right.
You will lose up bucket loads of money too, by the way.
Right.
The revenue of the home game too.
Well, and you couldn't even sabotage that, because even if some people got together from the opposing fan base, you're not going to get thousands of people all on board, so you can't do that way.
Like Tennessee last, the fines, Tennessee probably let the cat out of the bag too much on the fines, in that they paid the fine and then turned it into a fundraising campaign.
Yep.
They very much politicianed that. Please help me fight these awful charges. Give me money. Please help us pay this fine. Dude, you're paying your football coach $6 million a year. You got $250,000. Nobody's fooled by that. And they were very tongue-in-cheek about it, but that's the cat's out of the bag on how they do those things and what they use them for. And the SEC had a little egg on their face because of that. So they're trying to figure out how to make it harsher. I just don't know if they can. I think you need to save I'm not a field or court storming in the right moment, but like Craig, I do think it gets a little bit.
Yeah, I think it
sometimes
also
you can get a little
is
addicted to it.
I think it's set up by what happens earlier in the day on a Saturday. Mm-hmm. I think that people watch everything, and I think if somebody storms the field for an 11 o'clock game, it leads to one at 2:30, it leads to one at 6, it leads to one at 9. I do think it's gotten to the point, it's almost like the wave.
There's just very clearly sometimes when fans just want to do it, and they're just waiting on a win to be able to do it sometimes, it's not just some random game like week 2 of the season, but it's the rivals in town, and it's nice to beat them, and maybe you didn't get bowl eligible last year, and now you're clearly going to be, and you beat this team, and you rush the field. That can get kind of old. I mean, it can, and it's more special when it's just very impromptu, and you don't really get that feeling. It's just, that last-second field goal goes through, and everybody just reacts, and that's what happens. That's better than the more you can kind of see it coming, storming of the field that's not necessarily over a top 5 opponent or whatever. It's just a team you haven't
Or a
beaten in
big
10 years.
Yeah, like a rivalry game.
Right.
Yeah.
Some of that can get a little bit silly. Again, I'm not anti-storming the field, though, and this is also not law or a rule for the SEC right now. It's simply a talking point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe they don't do anything about it. But if they're going to stick with the fines, I do think they need probably add another digit to it.
Yep.
Because 6 figures isn't doing anything. So rather than getting silly with not doing it at all, or rather than, messing with people's records, which I could see how that would be a great deterrent, but might not be the most fair thing in the world, maybe you then penalize them. Instead of it's $200,000, it's $2 million. And then let's see Tennessee go raise funds for that, which they probably still would, knowing them. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where they land on this and how they try to curb that, because they are clearly worried about the one time where it doesn't go the way it's supposed to go. The one time that somebody does something to cross the line and there's a big crowd, and there's legitimate concerns to be had in this day and age, and just in general. So I can understand where they're worried about the bottom line if something were to happen safety-wise at one of these stadiums, but I hope they don't ruin all of the fun just for the sake of that either.
Baylor stormed the field in 2010 when they beat Kansas State to become bowl eligible for the first time in a decade and a half. They stormed the field after the craziness of the emotional 61-58. Maybe there was another one. Oklahoma, in that controversy when Miranda called timeout and they kicked the field goal. But, again, there was a big moment. I just think, man, act like you've been there, but the problem is some of these teams that storm the field program, they haven't been there, and so they're enjoying the moment.
Well, it's like Tennessee. This is the one that's all basically based off of is if, that was just the culmination of how many years in the making for them to be in – this huge moment and to want to rip down goalposts and brag about, their success and brag about where they are and where they're now returning to. And yeah, it's just, it's interesting to see that they've obviously got this as such a serious, obviously a serious topic that they want to address. But yeah, there's a lot of the fun side that's being pushed aside to focus on the grave danger there could potentially be. So let's hope they find some middle ground.
Now, hopefully they'll be able to discuss it. Eventually, you got to. It's like somebody said the other day. Eventually, you want to put your hand on the burner. It has to burn before you do it. So you won't do it again. When we come back, Corey Mayfield Jr.